My name is Rob Shearman, and I'm the writer of episode 6 of the new series called Dalek. They're like uninhibited children, and they're just the sort of things which go around and will exterminate whatever they want without any morals or any fear of anyone getting cross with them, because they just don't care enough about anything else. That's why I think they were such a big hit in playgrounds. Kids going around and being Daleks because they could exterminate their teacher or they could exterminate their fellow classmates because nothing could stop them, and that's what you want to do all the time anyway when you're a kid. Well, I did. So I begin writing Dalek as it's not at that point yet called. It's left very, very vague for a while. And I do about 5 drafts of that until the summer, when I'm having a nice meal with Stephen Moffat, and indeed mocking him because I'm so far through my script and he's yet to start, when a phone call comes from Julie Gardner saying that the Daleks have been lost. There's no realistic concept of getting them back. It isn't going to happen. So draft 6, as I then call it, becomes a story called Absence of the Daleks, which was my attempt at being funny. That one note of humour in a rather worrying, tense month. I'm actually strangely relieved that we lost them. I mean, I wouldn't have said that at the time, because it was a horrible experience, but it helped the episode No End to have the Daleks removed for a while. In my early drafts, I was trying too hard, and I can see that now. I was wanting to write this sort of the ultimate Dalek horror story, and I had characters with lots of depth and lots of dialogue and lots of interpersonal relationships, and the Dalek story as you now see. And I was advised by Julian Russell to remember that what the audience really wanted to see at this point was a Dalek, not lots of other characters squabbling about them. And they became a bit more cipher-like, I think, for a few drafts. They became broader and funnier. When we lost the Daleks, that could no longer work because we'd lost the icon that the audience were wanting to look to. So I beefed up the characters, and Henry Van Statten became a rather darker figure. And then putting him back in with the Dalek when we got them back seemed like the perfect marriage. Henry became worthy of being someone who had trapped this Dalek, as opposed to being a relatively stupid innocent who just happened to have a Dalek in his basement. Russell had come up with a new idea for a replacement lead villain for the series, and he'd drawn it even. He's quite a good draftsman, Russell, and he told me what the concept of it was. And it's very, very different from a Dalek, and it became something like a rather sadistic little schoolboy. Before this non-Dalek would kill people, it would giggle and say, "Let's have fun." And it meant it. As far as it was concerned, it was like a kitten toying with a pet shrew, and it would just do things in order to humiliate the people before it killed it. And it didn't see it as being particularly a terrible thing. It just happened to enjoy killing people and having a good laugh as it did so. It was nice. It would probably have traumatised children, which is what I was after. In the first couple of drafts of my script, I made Adam the son of the villain, which was quite fun, but utterly unhelpful. And eventually Russell took me to one side and said, "It's not really working. Can we just go back to having him as some sort of rather enthusiastic boy from Nottingham?" And that worked great. And actually, once I found that, I wrote Adam as me. Adam is the one who's excited by the concept of everything, but the actual reality and all the practicalities scare him to death. I'm looking forward to seeing what Russell makes of Adam in episode 7 and onwards, actually, just to see how the character develops. When I went to Cardiff for a couple of days to see Dalek being filmed, when I got on the train at Paddington, I was Rob Shearman, the serious author, and by the time I got actually onto set, I was just this giggling fanatic who wanted to go and hug his Dalek. To be on set for a new series, full stop, was astonishing. For it to be my episode and to have a Dalek in it, yeah, I mean, there was a couple of days of heaven. I still get a thrill when I see the confrontation scenes between Chris Eccleston's Doctor and the Dalek, and that's because I think Chris is extraordinary in the scenes, and that Nick Briggs just raises that whole Dalek character to a new level. What's great is you get a real meeting of minds in those scenes, and I love them. It's two actors who are really taking the dialogue and running with it and besting each other and just trying to test each other as well, and I can watch those scenes again and again, and probably will until I'm told to stop by my wife. I'm aware that there have been a few complaints already about the words canoodle and spoon in the series. It is true that I do want, obviously, to corrupt children, and I hope that all children before the age of 18 will be using spoons now because of the episode.